Hello everyone, welcome back to Dreambound. Last time we, went into the mind of, I forgot the main character's name, but his brother, Asher, and we saw that maybe maybe the life they lived was not as it was told, because he thought that his life was very, just like, he thought that, his life was better than, Asher's life was better than his, and that he got a lot more, and his parents favored him more, and blah, 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 but he figures out that's not true. Can you take all that energy out of here? Bonnabelle, please. Come here. Meow. She did this last time, too. The video that goes up on Wednesday, she did this, too. She was I kicked her out over it. I'll kick you out again, and then you'll be sad. Good morning, class. Noah sat at his desk, his eyes lazily on the new teacher. It had barely been a few days, but he'd already found himself comfortable enough in class. His fingers tapped against the worn wooden desk. Sure, he was getting used to it, but that doesn't mean he was pleased. At least I can still see August at lunch. I have some exciting news. We have a new student that moved into the class. Again? Correction, 2 students. New students? 2 of them? That's crazy. Noah paused as he saw the 2 shadows behind the door, waiting to come in. Come in, you 2. As the class was visibly deflated. Deflated? Why would they be deflated? Noah nearly sprang out of his chair. 2 people, one with brown hair and the other with blonde, walked airily into the room. We won't bother with an introduction because you all probably know each other anyway. Kaine and August are joining us from class 2-3. Get ruined. Get ruined. Hey! Stop! You're crazy. Just flipping around like a top on the floor. Make sure to give them a warm welcome. Noah blinked once, and then again, and then a few more times, just for good measure. The 2 walked into the classroom and took spare desks, August on his left and Kaine behind him. August, with the same smile that had reminded Noah of a sunrise, waved to him discreetly. Now that that's out of the way, let's get right into modern world history. Okay, modern world history. Hold on, I need to deal with this stinky little rat. Miss Rose dressed impeccably, turned her back, and lifted the whiteboard marker up, ready for the lesson to begin. With her back turned, Noah scribbled down a message onto it. Oh, Noah! Dude, I always forget his name. R.I.P. Onto a ripped out corner of his workbook that read, I can't believe you managed this. He paused for a moment before adding one of August's signature smiley faces with the note. Can you send one to Kaine? Please! And as inconspicuous as possible, Noah balled up the piece of scrap paper and tossed it towards August's desk, where it landed without a sound. It'd be so much easier to pass it to Kaine, too. August laid down the note on his desk, carefully straightening out the wrinkles. The corner of his mouth turned upward as he read the message. Quickly, August opened up his pencil case and dug around inside, before pulling out a pen and writing something on the other side of the paper. Noah suddenly felt shy. What? Noah, suddenly feeling shy, traced shallow scratches on the surface of his desk with his fingertip. That was until a little ball of paper landed on his desk in return. Kaine organized it. You should thank him. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Justice for Kaine. Justice for Kaine. That's all I gotta say. Noah smiled at the neat writing, every letter perfectly placed in its undeserving of such a scrappy bit of paper. Okay, that's literally insane. You need to chill. Noah picked up his pencil again, quickly writing a reply under August's. By the way, your handwriting is really... Noah thought on the word. Cute, neat, sweet. Sweet is crazy. Pretty's a good one? Oh, yeah, pretty. Pretty he decided on. His own handwriting was plain and simple, neat, but with no frills. By comparison, August seemed bright and cheery. Noah balled up the scrap of paper once again, ready to toss it back to August when Mrs. Rose turned around. Something to share with the class, Noah? Although her words were serious, Noah could see a faint twinkle in her eye, as if she understood that Noah was pleased to be back with his friends. No, Miss Rose. Red in the face, Noah shoved the note back into his pocket, all the while burying his face back in his textbook. Miss Rose, unfazed, carried on with the class until the bell rang for lunch. Most of Noah's new classmates quickly shuffled out of the classroom, whether in a rush or to get something from the cafeteria or in a rush to get away from the schoolwork. August stretched out his shoulders and neck, with a drawn-out sigh before Noah had a chance to move. Kaine had already approached his desk with an award-winning grin. How the hell did you make this happen? Not bad, eh? Go on, praise me some more. Don't push it, but seriously, how? It was no big deal. Really? If it wasn't that big of a deal to you, I would love to see what is. Nope, not Noah. That is someone completely different. August saddled up to stand behind Kaine, the two of them laughing at their joke. Noah couldn't help but notice that the two of them seemed closer than before. My mom organized it. I don't ask her for much, so she was happy to oblige, I guess. In the end, I think a complaint was lodged against Mr. Floyd. The principal let the two of us move to his class since our parents insisted. Noah kicked at the wooden floor, his foot gliding across the polished floorboards. He deserved it anyway. They should hurry up and fire him already. Look, are you going to tell us what happened? Noah winced. What could he say? He pretended to be my friend, but told my parents everything I said. I trusted him. What if you had told him that would have caused this kind of reaction? I'm not ready to tell anyone yet. All right, fine, but I'm always here to talk, okay? Noah waved his hand dismissively. Yeah, me too. You know, I'm always happy to listen. Don't talk to me, August. This is your fault. At some point, both August and Kaine had pulled over their chairs and sat down. Thanks, August, really. With a sigh, Kaine dug around in his backpack looking for something, before presenting two almost matching lunchboxes. He slid one over the table to Noah, who looked at it with surprise, over his flattened sandwich. What's this about? I was doing some cooking and thought you could use a pick-me-up. Kaine's famous cooking? Kaine blushed a little, but was obviously enjoying the praise. It's nothing exciting. Don't get your hopes up. Noah's stomach rumbled as he opened up the lunchbox and peered at the contents. The smell filled the room, making everyone's mouths water. It smells amazing. You know, Kaine wants to be a chef when he's older. Yeah, he should. Yeah. Come on, I'm not good enough to be a chef. Oh, shut up. You know you are. By the looks of it, I'd say you are. I mean, if it tastes as good as it smells. I'll make 3 next time, then. Wait, why? You can try some of mine. Nuh-uh. That's mine. Don't touch my food. Noah? I know you got feelings or whatever. That's mine. I'm greedy. Really? Of course. Without a second thought, Noah raised his fork towards August. He instantly recognized his mistake. What am I doing? But before he could move his hand, August took a bite. You need to, no, put that away. Put it away. Put it away, gay boy. Absolutely. You stink. I forget how stinky you are. I use that fork first. It's almost stop thinking, Noah. Delicious. You really are amazing, Kaine. I want to try some too. You have your own lunchbox. I'm not sharing. Then I'll just bring 1 lunchbox next time. Oh wait, does this mean the sleepover's off the table? Looks like it, since my parents told me I'm not allowed to hang around August anymore. The room went silent. Kaine and August's eyes locked on Noah's face as the realization hit about what he had just said. Shit. Why me in particular? I didn't mean to. It doesn't matter anyway. I'm just gonna hang out with you if I want to. Both of them still stared at him, unwavering. I mean, yeah, because that's like I'm assuming it's a rich school, and they're all rich. So I'm guessing either... I mean, they obviously know that, like, they're gay. And I think they said that he has 2 dads. So I don't know whether it's that or what. I don't know. My parents don't really like you. But I've never met them. They've met your dad. But why wouldn't they like me? I guess they said something like, you're too girly or something. I don't know. I don't care what they say. Oh. But, I mean, they don't even know you. And, like, even if you were... Noah instantly shut up. The warm smile he had come to know was so well had fallen off of August's face. Well, we can always have a sleepover another time. Kaine laughed, but anyone could tell it was forced. The 3 sat in silence, finishing their lunches before the bell rings. August and Kaine went back to their desks, leaving Noah alone with his thoughts. I wish I didn't say anything. I mean, it's gonna be really hard to not talk about it, I fear. The rest of class passed by in a slow, drawn-out blur. Noah's workbook was empty apart from the messy doodles along the edge of his page. By the time he looked up from packing his bag, August was long gone. It was the first time he'd left without them. Noah swallowed, feeling a lump in his throat that he couldn't shake off. Should we go? I guess so. Don't take it too personally. It's not your fault. It is. I should have kept my mouth shut. Why would your parents say that anyway? I don't know. Look, let's just go home. I have an idea, okay? You can leave it to me. Oh, justice for Kaine. I love Kaine. He's so little. Gentle sunlight fell through the canopy and onto the rocky mountain path, warming the two boys' faces as they walked silently. Noah stood slightly behind Kaine, his eyes stuck to the ground. He couldn't think of anything to say, and by the looks of it, neither could Kaine. His legs felt heavy, as if they were filled with lead, and his heart ached. Thanks, Kaine. Noah reached out and took a hold of Kaine's sleeve, pulling the other boy to a stop. He halted abruptly. It's no problem. Anyway, I haven't done anything yet. No, thanks for always, being there. Where else would I be? Noah's eyes finally left the ground. On Kaine's face was his classic, charismatic grin, but his eyes were warm and kind. You're my best friend. You better not forget that. You wouldn't let me forget that even if I wanted to. I guess you're stuck with me. Guess so. Feeling a little brighter, the two continued their trek. Quietly, Kaine's fingers traveled down to where Noah had just held for a moment before. Noah! Before his mother could get a word in otherwise, Noah retreated to his room and slammed the door hard. His only wish is that he could lock it from the inside. A pointless act in itself, seeing as the door could be unlocked easily from the outside. Noah waited a moment to hear, with an ear to his door, waiting for the stomping of his mother to come to berate him for being so rude, but they never came. With a sigh, he sank down to the ground, resting his back against the door. I'm an idiot. Maybe I can make it up to him somehow. I could draw a picture of him. He does have that photo of me. Maybe that's too lame. With his mind still undecided, Noah stood from the wooden floor and made his way to the desk, carefully stepping over cushions that sat on the ground. Collapsing onto his chair with a spin, he stared at his room. Furniture his parents chose, art on the walls they'd placed there. A picture-perfect showroom, but it never felt like his. It never felt like him. The only place that felt like home was here, at his desk, where his art books were kept. Panic set in. Noah opened the drawers before jumping and searching through his backpack, but it was no use. They weren't there. Where are they? A knock finally sounded at his door. Noah, your brother's home. His panic became a dread that settled in the bottom of his stomach, eating away at him. Their relationship had always been rocky at best, but it was almost as if he was a walking target to his brother, an overachiever in almost every field. Come out and greet him. When Noah made no move to open the door, his mother did it for him. Her arms were crossed over her chest, crinkling the dark silk. Where did my art books go? Noah's words were blunt and accusatory, but his mother just shook her head. Wherever you left them, Noah. Honestly, you should spend less time doodling and more time studying. I study plenty. Someone moved my books. No one's moved them. Someone has. Don't raise your voice with me. I said no one touched your books. Who would? You're the only one who cares about them. Hey, what's all this yelling about? I don't remember what voice I gave him. I'm dying still, help. A voice like this. Nope, I did not give him that. Sorry. Oh my gosh, I'm dying. I think I'm dying. Every time I record, I think I'm dying. Because tell me why my nose is like super clogged and then like I keep like getting mucus in my throat. Am I getting sick? That's so probable. Oh, it's so probable. I need it to not happen though. That's what I need. A voice like silk, the silk of their mother's shirt, smooth and slippery, came down the hallway. Oh, Noah, happy to see me? Noah withdrew, his eyes wanting to settle on anything but his brother. Eventually, he had no choice. With an emotionless voice, he answered, "Welcome home." His voice held a kind of charisma that many people had fallen for, despite the iciness that hid behind it. Have you seen my sketchbooks? Sketchbooks? You're still wasting your time with that stuff? Let me think. Asher paced back and forth in mocking thought. Oh, were those the books on your desk? Yes, did you see them? Oh, that's too bad. Dad told me to take out the trash, so I thought you wouldn't want them. What? There might be time to get them back, I guess. You... Noah, it was an honest mistake. You need to forgive your brother. It was no mistake. He did it on purpose. Noah, apologize. I would never apologize. No. Her hand went to her mouth in shock. Where are they? In the bin outside? Oh no, let me show you. Don't worry, Mom. I'll help him get them back. You're a good boy, Asher. A better son to me than some. Whatever. What a terrible mother, and a terrible brother, and a terrible father. The further his brother led them from their shared home, the more anxious Noah began to feel. All right, this'll do. The charm had dropped out of his voice, replaced by a teasing sneer. I just kept that the whole time because he annoys me and I'm not giving him no charm. He pointed further down the mountain. Down there, if you look real close. What can you see? The river? Bingo. Enjoy getting those back, loser. One moment he was there, and the next he was gone. His hands that had balled up into fists at his sides tightened before punching a tree hard. A line of blood dripped down his hand and onto the bark. Ugh, jerk. With no time left to waste, Noah sprang into a run, racing towards the river. L family, hate them. Boo, 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 boo. I don't care. This is like some Endeavor business. I don't care how hard your life was or how much your parents didn't actually love you. You acted like a jackass, and I don't care. I do not care. I don't like you. Womp womp. If his heart hadn't already been broken by the day's events, now it truly had been. Stuck on the rocks and the weeds of the river were his sketchbooks. Oh, what a jerk. Stray pages drifted around, obviously ripped out by someone. Noah swallowed hard, not sure whether to shout or cry, before he kicked off his shoes and jumped in the mostly calm river to retrieve what he could. The water was cold, made even worse by the so quickly setting sun. It easily came to his thighs, ruining his once perfect uniform. He reached out, desperate to save anything salvageable, but already many of the pages dissolved into mush. Just when he felt like tears would start, Noah heard the sound of something from behind him. Gentle splashes of someone joining him. Boo. August? What are you doing? What are you doing? I'm helping you get your books back. There's no point. They're just stupid drawings. August shook his head. They're not stupid. August slowly waded through the river until he was across from Noah. You're getting all wet. A little water never hurt anyone. Something dripping with good looks. That's what someone said in a book I read once anyway. Silence stretched out between them as they collected soggy art books. But instead of keeping his mind focused on the task, Noah couldn't help but stare at August, desperate for the words to fix everything. But there was no miracle that could fix everything. They didn't exist. And so, Noah defaulted to the only thing he could think to say. I'm sorry. It's fine, it's just water. No, I'm sorry about earlier. It's okay. It doesn't matter. It does matter. It matters to me. Noah stumbled over his sudden outburst, but wasn't ready to stop yet. What they think is stupid. I don't care what they say about me, but I don't want them to say anything bad about you. I want to spend time with you. I want to hang out with you at school and outside of it too, and so I will. If you want, that is. I don't want to cause any problems between you and your parents. It's okay if you don't want to hang out with me anymore. No matter what, I want to see you. August suddenly let out a breath he was holding, and a smile came back onto his face. That's good, because I really wanted to stay friends. At some point, Noah's heart had begun to beat hard and fast. He bit his lip. I should tell him. I like you. Did your brother do this? How did you know? I saw you two arguing. Yeah, he hates me, so I ruin the only things I love. What a jerk. I know it doesn't make it any better, but let's replace all this together. I'm not really good at drawing, though. Yeah. Noah, where are you? I give her this. I don't think she cares. Boo, she sucks. Noah and August, with their arms full of water-soaked books, quickly left the river. I should go. I don't want you to get in more trouble. But I'll see you at school tomorrow, okay? Yeah, see you tomorrow. Just as August disappeared one way, his mother appeared from the other. What are you? Noah, you're soaked. I wonder who can blame for that. You can't shift the blame for everything that happens in your life, Noah. He did it. He threw all my art books into the river, and now they're ruined. I'm sure it was an accident. Yeah, I too accidentally chuck every single art book that someone owns into a river. She's such a terrible mom. I wish only the bad things for her. How? How could anyone accidentally do that? I'm not here to argue with you. You have a guest at home. Look at you, and your cheeks all red. Probably getting sick already. Noah frowned, the image of August beside him still stuck in his mind. Fine, I'm going home. All packed away and ready to. Whoa, what happened to your clothes? Long story. What are you talking about, though? Don't you remember? You're staying at my house to study for the test tomorrow. Test? Do we have a test? Right, the test. Let me change and get my stuff. Only studying, yes. Yeah. Lovely. I'm so happy someone like you would be friends with someone like my son. He can really depend on you. You flatter me, ma'am. Really, it's the other way around. What a good kid you are. Rolling his eyes, Noah quickly retrieved the things from his bedroom, packing a spare uniform and some PJs. When he reappeared, Kaine and his mother were still conversing kindly. From the sound of it, it mostly consisted of praise. I'm ready. Good. Well, it was nice talking to you, ma'am. We'll study extra hard tonight. Noah, make sure not to slow down Kaine, dear, all right? Right, because obviously I'm an idiot. I won't. Kaine went on ahead, holding open the door for Noah before letting it fall shut behind them. Ooh. Ooh. I would punch that lady in the face. In the face. Thanks, Kaine. What exactly happened the last hour since I saw you? It's a long story. Well, I have time to listen. Asher threw all my art into the river. He what? Why? Great question. I guess he just hates me. How would I know? Sorry it took so long then. I should have been there to help. Noah shook his head. You got me out of there. You really are the best friend I could have. Come on, I don't think they're looking at us through the window anymore. Kaine took a hold of Noah's wrists, leading him away from his parents' prying eyes. When he thought they'd gone far enough, Kaine circled back before coming to a stop somewhere Noah hadn't expected. The door to his neighbor's house. What's going on? We're having a sleepover at August's house. What? Does August know about this? He's about to. We can't just barge. Kaine quickly pressed the doorbell. From further inside, a breezy tune carried through the house, followed by footsteps. Oh. Hi. Hello? The door swung open, and standing in its place was a tall man with messy, blonde hair and blue eyes. Instantly, Noah recognized the man, despite never having met. His eyes held a deep kindness and a smile that played on his lips. This could only be August's father. Oh, Kaine, it's wonderful to see you again. Noah looked towards Kaine, flustered and curious, when he remembered that they'd probably met when they were moving classes. The kind-looking man's eyes traveled from Kaine to Noah. Oh, I'm Noah. I live next door. Awkwardly, Noah pointed towards his house, careful to stay hidden from any peering eyes. Noah, I was wondering when we'd finally meet. August talks about you all the time. He does? All lovely things, I assure you. You can call me Jasper, by the way. Okay, Jasper. Did I like the name Jasper? Mm-hmm. Anyway, what can I do for you two? We were wondering if we could see August. Of course you can. I'm sure he'll be thrilled to see his friends. August, you have guests. A moment later, a bespectacled face appears before them, behind his father. Noah? Kaine? What are you two doing here? His face held genuine surprise, but he was obviously pleased with his development. Well, you see, we were wondering if we could have a sleepover tonight. August's surprised face morphed into a wide, bright smile as he turned towards his dad. In return, his father chuckled and nodded. You two are practically family already. Welcome anytime. You're welcome anytime. It's over. It's over. I'm dying. Come on in. I'll show you my room. The moment the trio stepped into August's bedroom, both Kaine and Noah could instantly tell it belonged to him. On what grounds? It's like 2 plants in here, a bed, like 7 books. Some pictures, maybe. I'm not sure how we made that assumption, but okay. Unlike Noah's bedroom, this felt like August, despite his family being here for only a short amount of time. This is my bedroom. I'll go get us some drinks. Feel free to make yourselves comfortable. Noah's eyes went from one thing to another. August's bed made perfectly. His pillows were where his head rests every night. I need us to stop locking in on weird things, please. His desk next to a big leafy green plant that made the room feel even more cozy. Noah eyed it up, thinking, I would have killed it already. What's the opposite of a green thumb? There's actually a term for it, but I don't know what it is. Lastly, his eyes fell to the blonde's desk. Hanging above the wall is a small collection of Polaroids and some others. Is that you? He instantly looked away, his cheeks hot, hold on. Ugh, the mucus is crazy. Hanging on August's wall proudly was the photo he had taken of Noah from across their balconies. Can I see it? I didn't think he'd keep it. Shaking his head, Noah looked back at the other photos. Some were of August and his father, but one happened to stand out. It looked old and slightly faded, but well looked after. It showed a woman with kind green eyes, smiling at whoever was taking the photograph. That's my mom. My dad says I look just like her. This is the only photo I've seen of her, though, so I can't really tell. You do look like her. August set down 3 colas on his desk, admiring the photograph himself. Noah's voice dropped to a whisper. I didn't think you'd keep that. August looked back at Noah out of the corner of his eye. The moonlight shone from the window, illuminating his face. I told you. I look at it whenever I'm feeling lonely. Look at how sad he looks. Can you not make him a third? Hear me out, okay? You don't have to like him back. You don't. I understand that happens all the time, and you don't have to like him back. Whatever. I am separate from Noah. I recognize that. I'm like, justice for Kaine, but you don't have to like him. You don't. I can tell you don't. It's fine. But can you not third wheel him all the time? It's so sad. It's so sad to third wheel him 24/7. Please stop it. Oh. I give a gift that will never be forgotten. Oh, we're in chapter 3. What? Obviously, I cannot break up these videos good. What? I literally just keep stopping in an hour and then crying about it. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? It has to be here. Noah knelt on the ground, searching through an array of cardboard boxes which had been taped hastily shut. These boxes had been gathering dust in his room, stacked up in every nook and cranny for longer than he'd wanted to admit. Years easily, though Noah didn't like to think about it much. It was hard to remember. The events immediately after August's death were all a blur. In attempting to recall them, they only became more distorted, like a mirage. It was impossible to hold on to them. But through it all, Kaine had been there. Kaine had always been there, through everything, no matter when or where. He drove these boxes over, picked out his apartment, hell, even paid for it and let Noah slowly repay him. He'd supported him no matter what, really. He was like Noah's personal cheerleader. It's called having a friend. Maybe, you're taking advantage of him, because, I think you kind of treat him like shit. That's just me, but, whatever. And when I think about that, he really has done a lot for me. What have I done, meanwhile, to repay him? Nothing. All he'd shown Kaine in the last few years was contempt. Noah knew if he had asked Kaine, he would have said he did not want to be repaid. I just want you to feel better. And even if you can't feel better, I'd like you to be more like your old self. I'd like for you to get to the point where you can smile freely again. That's all. Noah was sure Kaine had said something like that before. His memory was hazy at times, but it sounded like something he'd say. He was far too forgiving, and it just makes me feel guilty. Noe? It's over. It's so over. I don't know what's happening today. Noah sighed as he dug through the cardboard boxes. He'd never bothered to sort most of them. He hadn't had the energy. He'd only unpacked the bare essentials after arriving in his apartment. His sheets, clothes, and some cookery. You don't cook. What do you mean? Is that what it actually said? Crockery. I don't know what that means. Although that perhaps had been a pointless gesture. Yeah, see, I was right anyways. Given how little he had been eating. When he did eat, it was when Kaine cooked something, which, where credit was due, was a lot. Dang, you might as well move in with him at that point. He had unpacked some of his painting supplies too, but that had been even more pointless. For far too long, he had been unable to bring a paintbrush to a canvas, and when he did, the results were less than impressive. His attempts at painting had done nothing save waste good acrylics and watercolors. But he still tried, because if he didn't have painting, if he didn't have art, he'd have had nothing. Maybe I shouldn't have bothered. I should have left everything shut away in these boxes. Noah stared down into the box, thinking, I had more things than I remembered. It must have taken Kaine a long time to pack all of this. Did I ever say thank you? I don't know. Noah continued to search like a man possessed, tearing off strips of packing tape and rooting through boxes. In this box, there was an old toaster, never used, and this one some old memo pads and colored pencils. The pencils made him smile. He had very few art supplies growing up, with the way his parents disapproved. These were from his childhood. He continued digging. Old books, clothes much too small for him, magazines. Noah continued to search, his head bowed. Blech. He was unaccustomed to physical exercise, having spent so long indoors, and the simple act of searching through boxes was making him feel breathless. He never used to be like this. He remembered the days of running around school with Kaine and playing games. Where is it? Is this it? At long last, Noah excavated it from beneath the sea of miscellaneous items. It was a large book, sumptuously bound, full of laminate pages. It was his yearbook. This was Noah's last yearbook. He should have had one more, but he stopped going to school by that point. He hadn't been able to see the point, not without August. He tried, he really did. But once you've known such a bright light, it's hard to become accustomed to darkness. Noah hadn't wanted this yearbook. He hadn't seen the point either. He told Kaine that as much, but he had insisted on picking him up a copy regardless. He had said Noah might regret it one day, and that he might want to cherish these memories. Noah had thought this highly presumptuous on Kaine's part. He had even toyed with the idea of throwing the yearbook away when Kaine had given it to him, but he had stopped himself. He had thought it would be insensitive. Kaine had bought the stupid thing for him as a gesture of goodwill, and it had been expensive. Noah had accepted the gift, but he hadn't looked through it. He hadn't the heart. Better just leave it in the box, packed away in the dark. It seemed imperative all of a sudden that he looked through it now, though. Maybe there was a photo of him in there? He looked and looked, flipping the pages distractedly. He saw a sea of familiar faces. Luca, Rosamie, Sebastian. But he didn't want to focus on any of them. They weren't important. There was only one face he wanted to locate. But try as though he might, he couldn't find him. Noah glanced through the book the second time, more quickly this time, but once again, he drew a blank. It would seem as though he couldn't will him into existence either. The timings must have not matched up, and he hadn't been there when this yearbook had been made. It made sense, seeing as August had transferred a few months into the school year. Well, it had always been a long shot. There was a reason why he had never bothered to look through the book. Feeling despondent, but not too disappointed, his expectations had always been low. He set the book aside. For a few moments he crouched there, surrounded by the sea of ransacked cardboard boxes, when a familiar voice caught his attention. Oh, boo, it's you again. Nice collection of random trash. You getting ready for the yard sale or something? Oh, you're back, huh? Noah turned, still kneeling, and came face to face with Ivan. The white-haired young man was reclining on the couch as though he owned the place, as though he had never left. I was wondering where he had got to. You're all right, huh? Noah spoke flatly. It was a statement, not a question. He didn't really care what Ivan had been doing or how he escaped from Asher's dream. It seemed irrelevant, just like everything else. Ivan must have noticed Noah's apathy because he responded in turn with a non-committal shrug. I'm always all right. You don't have to worry about that. I think I gave him a flatter voice before, but I wasn't. I know, don't worry. I just thought I'd mention it in case you did care, you know, like most normal people. Please. Noah snorted. You're the last person who gets to berate people for being abnormal. Touché. Ivan smiled vaguely, but it didn't last. He cast another curious look at Noah. So, what are you doing? Decided to give up on your shut-in life and clean up the place? A little spring cleaning? It's not the season for it, but your place could use it. It's a dump. If my apartment offends you, you don't have to stay here. Feel free to leave. Did I say I disliked it? Then deal with the mess or clean it up yourself. I don't care. Dang, get got, nerd. Noah picked up the yearbook, which felt heavy as a brick, and dropped it unceremoniously onto the back of the box where he had excavated it. The book made a dull thud as it hit the inside of the box, which was rather alarming. Had it broken it or something? What else was in that box anyway? Tableware? Noah didn't care. He rose to his feet, nudging the box to one side as he did. He would put it away later, along with the other boxes. Yeah, sure, that's what we all tell ourselves. If he remembered. Yeah, that's what I thought. Hey, yeah. For someone that doesn't give a shit about anything, you sure do seem like you give a shit today. Ivan frowned, his arms folded. What does that mean? Ivan shrugged. I don't care if your apartment is a mess. I just thought you might. Why would I care about the opinion of a total stranger? You and I really are similar. Do you think that was my opinion? Sorry, I was like, dude, what if they're like the same person? And then I was like, that's crazy. He's like shorter than him and everything. Was it not? You just told me I should clean up my space since it's a dump. Society would demand you clean it up. I thought you were trying to be a part of it, trying to better yourself. But you and I are just pieces of crap who don't fit in this world. So leave it a mess, and you're just gonna give up. Sorry. So leave it a mess and just give up on all of this already. You sound like you're trying to invite me to a cult. Maybe I am. Well, I'm not interested. All I want is to be left alone to paint. You really need to work on relaxing. The whole world is not to get you. You aren't as important as you think. Wow, thanks, jerk. Now, why did you even come back? Just to harass me? Would you believe me if I said I enjoy your company? No. Good. Ivan lounged back further onto the couch, gazing towards Noah lazily. I don't know why that friend of yours is so obsessed with you. You're just another piece of crap. Huh? Noah frowned. What friend? The one with the tall, broad shoulders. What's his name? Kaine? The mention of Kaine's name made Noah tense. Why do you care about Kaine anyway? I don't. I was just thinking, he must have the patience of a saint. That, or maybe he likes being mistreated. There are people like that. Ivan smiled lopsidedly and then shrugged again. It takes all sorts, I guess. Oh, shut up. Fine with me. Ivan switched on the TV and began to watch it, an uninterested expression on his face. He always looked like that. Ivan settled back on the couch, his legs spread out before him like a stretching cat. He did not offer to let Noah sit down, not that Noah much minded. He had no real desire to join Ivan. He was finding Ivan's company quite wearying, in fact. That's what I get for wondering how he is. Next time he drags me into a dream, I hope he stays there. It'll do me a favor, if nothing else. Noah thought about making himself something to drink. A cup of coffee, maybe? Did he have any beans? He was feeling exhausted when a voice drifted through the television and made him pause. At approximately 5:45 this morning, another body was found in West Park. Police have sectioned off the area. West Park? That's close to my old home. What are the odds? Noah turned his full attention to the TV set, a tense knot of anxiety beginning to form in the pit of his stomach. Whose body shone up this time? It couldn't have been. Asher? The well-dressed news reporter on the screen cleared her throat and then continued her report. Noah, meanwhile, watched nervously, his whole body tense and taut like a coiling spring. The deceased has been identified by his family as Sebastian Carter, age 23. Sebastian was last seen yesterday evening. Police have released a statement saying the markings match the previously discovered bodies were present. So it wasn't Asher after all. That was a relief, though there was something sinister about it all. Noah had just seen Sebastian's smiling face only a few minutes ago, memorialized within the pages of his old yearbook. So that's another person dead, and they're also related to me. Can this really be a coincidence? Ivan, perhaps noticing Noah's grim expression, frowned. Enjoying the show? It's not a show, that's a real person. Does that mean it can't be interesting? I guess not, but it's not that. I know him, kind of. Anyway, he went to my high school. We weren't on the best of terms. Is anyone on the best of terms with you? The question hung in the air, but neither man continued the conversation. For that, Noah was grateful. Maybe even Ivan, tactless though as he could be, realized that this wasn't a subject Noah wanted to talk about. It was all too much, especially after Asher's dream, meeting Crow and looking through his old yearbook. Surely there's a limit on how many awful things can happen in one day. The news reporter had started to describe the mysterious markings which had appeared on the recently discovered corpses. An artistic render of these markings could be seen on the screen, twisted vines and unfurling flowers. There was something rather pretty about it, in a macabre sort of way. Noah had once called it a masterpiece. I wouldn't mind painting something like that. Noah glanced at Ivan curiously. He could see the same pattern picked out on Ivan's pale skin, running down the length of his neck and shoulder. It had put Noah on alert the moment he saw him, but over time that had faded into the background, alongside with his white hair and holographic fashion. It was easy to forget those marks. I didn't. Noah, can you walk in? Please? It just looked like markings on TV. Surely that has to mean something. Hadn't Crow said something about these markings earlier in Asher's dream? He called them a side effect of the dreams on the human body. I guess that proves it. These people really are being killed in their dreams. Who could be behind it, though? Could it be? Ivan was frowning. His eyes narrowed. What are you staring at? You're not about to confess to me, are you? Sorry, I'm not interested. You wish. I can't think of a worse person in the world than you. That's because I'm just... That's because I'm just like looking in a mirror to you. Noah scoffed and then glanced away, feeling conflicted. Could these markings be some sort of calling card? Maybe the killer had been signing their handiwork. Doesn't that make Ivan the most likely culprit? I don't know if I can picture him as being the killer, though. Why would he target people I know? He has no reason to kill Sebastian, as far as I know, or my parents for that matter. If these deaths are all related to me, then Noah frowned. I wonder who will be the next target. Anybody in my yearbook could be the next target. Or maybe, if they're literally actually all people he knows, right? And the only way they don't die is if, is if Noah goes into their dream and, makes up with them. It's giving more Noah than anything. It's giving, some spirit thing with Noah more than anything else. Unless Ivan is some weird future version of Noah, which is plausible, but probably not true. I'm 80% certain it's not true, so. It's probably something to do with him and his feelings and art and his mindset and yada 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 yada. Noah's eyes widened with alarm. What about Kaine? There's no doubt that Kaine was the person Noah was closest to. Yeah, but you don't dislike him. You've also only been in the... Sorry, I dropped my phone. Where'd it go? Hello? Oh. But also, the people who's, died in their dreams or were at the threat of dying in their dreams were people that you didn't like. The professor, you didn't like him. Your brother, you didn't like him. Your parents, you didn't like them. They're all people you don't like. Kaine was the one who was always there, who always had his back, the one who supported him. Kaine checked up on him with punctual regularity of a Swiss pocket watch. If Noah's hypothesis was correct and people he knew were being targeted, where would that put Kaine? Is he in danger? Okay. I forgot I can pick up my microphone. I was like, my back hurts. There was Crow, too, Noah supposed. But I don't know who he really is. We don't even know if he's a real person. I want to believe that he's August. I want to believe it so badly, but I've only ever seen him in dreams. Kaine, however, was real. He's made of flesh and blood, a fact that was indisputable. Noah knew this only too well. How many times had Kaine helped him to his feet when he had been slumped on the ground surrounded by ugly, paint-splattered canvases, skull throbbing, and the taste of bile bitter on his tongue? It had been more times than he could count. You treat him so poorly, and there's about to be live footage of me getting you. Noah had no fond feelings towards his parents, and neither did he care much for Sebastian, but he did care about Kaine. What would he do if something happened to him? Noah pondered this for a few moments before deciding he didn't much want to know. The thought was too bleak. Somewhat distracted, he reached into his pants pocket and pulled out his phone. He took a look at it with one glance, and then he cursed under his breath. Kaine had tried to call him during the last few hours, not just once, but 7 whole times. These notifications showed up on Noah's phone like censures, each and every one a reminder of how poorly he had treated Kaine. Facts. Sorry. Let me go crazy right now. In this case, at least, he had an excuse. Ivan had dragged him outside against his wishes and then forced him into a dream. After returning, Noah had been struck with a desire to see August's face. A desire so strong he hadn't thought to check his phone. Ooh. So eepy today, guys. I'm so eepy today. And reading only makes it worse. I'm so tired. I didn't even stay up super late, but I literally spent all of yesterday, doing, school projects and stuff. Because I was like, oh, if I finish all my school projects, I don't have to do them anymore. That's my hope, anyway. Kaine had been calling, and Noah had not heard his phone ring. Since the non-stop calls of his father's a few days ago, he kept it on silent mode. Kaine hadn't just called him either. He'd sent numerous texts, too. All to the tune of, "Are you alright? Is something the matter? No, I'm starting to worry. You better call him right now." Noah sighed. Well, that was Kaine all over. He's always worried. Well, you're always a mess. Though, I guess I don't make things any easier for him. I must give him a lot to worry about. I wish I could be different, but he just doesn't understand. He can't understand me. Go to therapy, please. Or maybe he can. I've never given him the chance to. Probably that. The last message Kaine had sent Noah only 5 minutes ago was a curt one. "I'm sorry, but I'm coming over. I'm seriously worried now." That was fair enough, Noah supposed, but he didn't want Kaine running into Ivan. That was the one headache he could do without. Noah hastily called Kaine, hoping it would intercept him before he arrived on his doorstep. How far was the walk between Kaine's office and his apartment anyway? Noah wasn't sure. Kaine's phone rang only once before he answered. "Noah, is that you? Are you alright?" "I'm still alive, at least. And yes, it's still me. I'm still me. At least, I was the last time I checked. I've experienced so many strange things, I'm beginning to wonder, though." Oh, thank God. Kaine's relief was palpable. Noah Noah couldn't see Kaine's face, but he knew he would be sighing. "I was terrified that you would... Well, never mind what I thought. I was probably making a big deal out of nothing again, huh? It's good to hear your voice." Dude, he thinks you're, suicidal for real. He thinks that you're ready to, hit the chopping block, my guy. Right. Noah frowned. How was he supposed to reply to that? "Well, you don't need to worry anymore. I'm still hanging in there." Ivan could only catch one half of Noah's conversation, but he must have been able to guess who was on the other end of the line. I mean, yeah, he doesn't talk to anybody else. Man's a recluse. He stood up stretching again, rather like a cat. "Is that the Saint Kaine himself checking in on you?" "Who else would it be? You said it yourself, I don't have any other friends." "I wonder why." "Noah, who's that? Who are you talking to?" "Oh, that guy that we don't like." "Nobody important. He doesn't matter." "I'm nobody important, huh?" Ivan raised an eyebrow. Wow, how cold. No wonder you don't have any other friends. "You're the guy who broke into my apartment and has only caused me problems. That's the extent of our relationship." Ivan looked towards the door and then back towards Noah. "See ya. I've got stuff to do." "What, you're leaving now?" "Yep. Don't miss me too badly." Not Noah. Ivan slinked out of the room to do, well, Noah had no clue. And he didn't care much either. Right now, Kaine was important. Kaine and his 7 missed calls. "I'm sorry about that. I had to see somebody off." "You had somebody over? That's unlike you." Noah could hear Kaine's confusion to the other end of the phone. "You need to quit lying to that man. You need to be like, 'Ayo, Ivan was here, without my permission again, and I sent him out.'" Yeah, I don't know why we're lying. Stop lying. Lying is so bad. I hate lying. It makes me ick. Kaine didn't say it, but he must have been thinking it. Since when did she have any other friends? It wasn't of my own volition, believe me. Wait, it's not that guy, is it? Yeah, it's that guy. Ivan? It's complicated. Don't worry about it, okay? He's gone, so that makes my life a bit easier. What do you need? Well, I called because I was worried about you, and I'm even more worried now. What's going on? What have you been doing? I called you 7 times. I know. If you know, then why didn't you answer? I didn't see your calls until now. I was otherwise engaged with Ivan of all people. Now you're starting to sound like a nagging partner. He was part of it, yeah, but I was doing other things. Such as... It's not important, really. Why do you... Noah! Noah, please. I need you to just tell him the truth. I hate this. I hate that you're not honest with him for no reason. He literally followed you into a dream. What, is he not going to believe you? He literally saw it. You're my hit list right now. Did you say you were coming over? That was the plan. I'm on my way now. What about your job? You'll get in trouble, won't you? If you take off in the middle of the day? No, it's already 6 p.m. I finished work 15 minutes ago. Oh, right. That was one of the side effects Noah supposed of being miserable. Time began to lose all meaning. Right indeed. Kaine sighed. It sounded like you've been struggling a little lately, Noah. I don't like seeing you like this. Do you mind if I come over? I'm only 10 minutes away. I don't know why you're asking. You don't usually give me a choice. That's because you usually don't reply to my texts or calls of your own free will, for that matter. This is a definite change. Huh. That's bad. You're a terrible friend. You are a terrible, terrible friend. Terrible friend. Elf friend. Noah. Elf friend. I guess he's right there. I never call Kaine. He always calls me. I wonder why today should be so different. It must be because I'm looking through the old yearbook. That's it. It's because you're afraid he'll die. That's why. It made me feel sentimental, maybe. Well, you can come over, I guess. Noah glanced about his room dispassionately. He took in the scattered canvases, none of which inspired much joy, and all of the boxes. He hadn't bothered to pack away the items he'd pulled from the boxes in his earlier search for the yearbook. And this apartment looked even messier than usual. Kaine's gonna be even more unhappy if he sees all this. Or on second thought, maybe it's not. It's a bit messy. No, your place is always messy. I'm used to it. Messy is a massive understatement, by the way. Messier than usual. Well, now I'm interested. It's gotta be really bad if even you think it's a problem. You're making me want to come over more, but if you insist, why don't you come and see me instead? Excuse me? Yeah, I think that's a good idea, actually. We can meet up outside, maybe at the park. I think it'll be good for you going outdoors. You can get some fresh air. I think I've had enough fresh air for one day, thanks. Actually, Kaine? Noah opened his mouth to interrupt, but Kaine cut him off. It's a nice day out. It's very sunny, but not too sunny. The park should look especially nice around this time of year. Lots of flowers and stuff. Well, yeah, I can't say I know a lot about plants and parks and stuff. I'm no botanist, but it'll still be nice. You're not a salesman either. Riley Noah smiled. You'd be awful at marketing. Then it's a good thing I'm not in marketing, is it? Kaine chuckled. It was a low sound, rich and deep, which took Noah by surprise. Yeah, it's like he grew up when you weren't looking because you weren't paying attention because you're too busy being depressed. I'm a hater. It's official. He couldn't remember the last time Kaine had laughed. Yeah, because you make him sad. Hell, he was having a hard time remembering the last time he had seen Kaine smile. Is that my fault? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. He probably smiles not around you because you're depressing. So what about it? I know you prefer staying inside, but I don't think it's good for you spending all your time shut up like a hermit. A little bit of sunlight never hurt anybody. Try telling that to a vampire. Are you saying you're a vampire, Noah? Not in the traditional sense. I don't suck people's blood, but people's happiness? Maybe. I wouldn't rule that out. Well, stranger things have happened, it's true. As far as I'm aware, though, you don't have any aversion to natural light. I think it'll do you a world of good. And I think you're being a bit too optimistic, but who am I to crush your dreams? Noah was rather less enthusiastic about this plan than Kaine, but found himself agreeing regardless. It was easier than arguing, and it was probably easier, too, than tidying up all the boxes. Noah's forearms were still screaming at him thanks to the strain he'd placed on them. Right, whatever. Noah hashed out a meeting place with Kaine and hung up. He slid his phone back into his pocket, wondering as he did what in the world had compelled him to agree to this. Seeing Kaine was not in and of itself a wholly unappealing idea. Is this my work? Is this the groundwork I've placed in? Is this all the effort I've put in to make him realize that Kaine's worth his time and he should be treating him better? That's what I hope. Because I'm going to start swinging. Why had he agreed to visit Kaine outside, however, in the park of all things, was a mystery that Noah could not unravel. It's literally not that big of a deal. He could not recall the last time he had been to the park, if indeed he had even ever been there. Kaine had invited him out before for walks or movies or other outdoorsy things, but Noah had always turned him down. Stepping outside of his drab, dingy apartment sounded like too much of a hassle. The outside world was much too loud. It was bright and garish, full of people Noah didn't know and who didn't know him, who talked too much and laughed too easily. Noah wanted nothing to do with them. It wasn't that he was afraid of leaving his home, as Kaine had seemed to suspect. He quite simply didn't care enough. That's called depression, my guy. He had no desire to interact with the outside world. What was the point when he would never find what he was looking for? It was easier to stay indoors. It didn't make him happier, this self-imposed isolation, but it required less stamina than dealing with other people. Kaine seemed to think that going outside would help stimulate Noah's creative muse, but Noah disagreed. He couldn't think of a single thing outside that the world had to offer that might revitalize his spirits. It was a waste of time. But Noah had already let Ivan drag him outside of his apartment, and he barely knew the man. If he could stomach the outside world with a stranger, he could do it with Kaine. It was what Kaine seemed to want in any case, even if Noah didn't. Perhaps it was time he tried to indulge Kaine, if only a little. Hadn't Kaine done enough to deserve it? He had been paying Noah's bills for months and making him food. The least he could do, Noah supposed, was humor him. And with this thought in mind, Noah was forced into action. He slid his shoes on in the entrance of his apartment and headed off. My fists are up. Psh, 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 psh. Though he had lived in his apartment for years, the surrounding area was still unfamiliar to him. Maybe I ought to take this as a sign that I really don't get out enough. Noah's thoughts were vague and oddly disconnected from reality as he walked the streets. He passed the odd pedestrian, catching out-of-context snippets of conversations in their wake, but they held no interest to him. The faces might as well have been blank, like mannequins. It's giving depression. It's giving... God. Noah's reality... Blech. Noah was certain this was reality. None of his dreams had ever been this mundane, but it didn't feel like it. He could very well have been inhabiting a dream. How would he have known? Okay, park is kind of cutie. This is also really bright for 6 p.m. I guess, well, it's winter right now, so that does not mean anything. I actually think it's generally this bright outside during the summer anyways. Never mind. This curious feeling didn't abate even when Noah arrived, with his phone's help at the park. If anything, he was feeling even stronger here. The park was located at the center of the city, and it was vast to a disorienting degree. The freshly mown grass was so green it hurt his eyes. Ugh, God, my throat is dying. I sound nasty. I'm pretty sure it sounds the same, but to me, I sound like a groggy little old lady. To me, I sound so bad. Ugh. It was well cared for, and it boasted numerous flower beds studded with a sort of flora Noah could not name. He was an artist, not a botanist, and he'd painted flowers in the past, but their names were lost to him. Maybe August would have known what these flowers were called, but Noah could hardly ask him. He wasn't here. And Noah shook his head, and then he hurried to the meeting spot Kaine had designated. Oopsies. Fortunately for Noah, it didn't take long for him to find him. Kaine was waiting for him on a bench by the fountain, just like he had said. Noah couldn't help how well pressed his clothes were. Everything about Kaine was neatly pressed. Even his hair looked perfect, not a single strand out of place. There was a bit of a breeze, but not even it could rumple Kaine's carefully put together appearance. Perhaps it didn't dare. I don't even want to think about how I must look in comparison. Nody? Noah didn't feel particularly self-conscious as he approached Kaine. He really didn't care enough, but he imagined they must have had made a strange pair. Kaine always looked pristine. He, unlike Noah, took his looks seriously, but he must have looked even more so in contrast to Noah. I just hope I don't draw too much attention to us. There is nobody here, my guy. Noah approached Kaine quietly. He didn't bother to introduce himself, but that didn't matter. He didn't need to. Kaine's head swiveled around at the sound of Noah's approaching footsteps. It was remarkable, really, how he was able to pick Noah out from amongst the crowd, given the park was so popular. Where? He must have been waiting. Noah. Kaine's face lit up when he saw Noah like a young boy's, smiling as he waved him over. God, it's good to see you. It was honestly... What? It's over. End the video. We're done. We're done here. We're done. It's over. I was honestly wondering whether you'd show up or not. Were you worried I would stand you up? Really? You want me to answer that honestly? Ouch. Anyway, no use dwelling on that unfortunate truth. I didn't invite you here so I could nag you. Lucky me. Kaine's smile took on an awkward edge, but he didn't press any further. Instead, he patted the bench beside him. Do you want to sit down? It's been a while since we really talked. Noah swallowed a sigh. He knew Kaine didn't mean to get at him. He was just concerned. His concern was appreciated, but it'd be easier if he didn't bother. Then again, I did come all the way out here. What does that say about me? Noah took his seat on the bench beside Kaine as he had instructed. Then he glanced around the park. The sunlight was much too bright for his sensitive eyes. Everything was too intense, the lights, the colors, all the noise, too. Why were there so many people? Noah had spent so long indoors, he'd forgotten just how intense the outside world could be. He squeezed his eyes shut in an attempt to calm himself, but it had little effect. The world blurred when he had opened them. Everything looked faintly unrealistic, surrealistic. He might as well have been looking at an impressionistic painting, or perhaps a dream. Noah had been pulled into dreams so often as of late, it had become hard to tell what was a dream and what wasn't. Reality and fantasy was no longer as clearly... Okay, sorry. It's been a mess over here. Whatever. Reality and fantasy were no longer as clearly delineated as they had once been. Please. It had all begun to blur together. Perhaps this too was a dream. Would it have been so strange if it was? It was stranger almost for Noah to take this as reality. It was nothing like the reality he'd once known. Noah had spent so long indoors amongst his sullied canvases that he had almost forgotten what sunlight looked like. Dude, that's embarrassing. You need to go outside more. He wasn't sure he liked it. If this was a reality without August, then Kaine could keep it. So, Noah. Kaine's voice interrupted Noah's sluggish musings. It was awkward, so unsure of himself. Kaine never used to speak to Noah like this, not when they had been in school. Whose fault is that? That had been a long time ago, though. I was just wondering, how have you been holding up? Ooh. Noah stared at Kaine with disbelief, roused from his stupor by how laughably obvious the answer was. What do you think? I'm the same as always. Aren't I? Maybe I'm changing. Maybe I'm not. I don't know. Right. Kaine sighed. Noah's answer had been bitter enough that it would have been unthinkable if Kaine had taken offense to it. Kaine didn't, however, look offended by Noah's spikiness. He didn't even look surprised. I mean, yeah, he was spiky even when he was a kid. Perhaps he had grown too accustomed to this newfound dynamic of theirs, Kaine pushing while Noah pulled away. It was how things had been, for years. You're right. I apologize. What a pointless question, huh? Sorry, I was being insensitive. Noah said nothing. He knew deep down that one of them was being insensitive, and it wasn't Kaine. Admitting as much was beyond their current capabilities, however. Look, Noah, I'm worried about you. That was the only reason I asked. You're looking pale, and even paler than usual, that is. You look tired. And those bags under your eyes didn't come out of nowhere. You can see why I would be concerned, surely. Concerned. Noah echoed this remark flatly, his eyes devoid of emotion. Listlessly, he scanned the park. You're starting to sound like my mother, you know. Well, not my mother, but someone's mother. Well, yeah, someone's gotta care about you. You certainly don't. I know you care. It's appreciated, but am I nagging too much? No more than usual, I guess. It's nothing but not reliable, I suppose. That's one word for you. Oh, I'd love to know some other words used to describe me. Insufferably caring, annoyingly considerate, stupidly charming. Wow, those sure are some words. Once again, Noah sighed. He himself could only be described as reliable nowadays, in the sense that he was reliably unreliable. Well, I'll take it. One of us has to be reliable, considerate, and all that. Otherwise, nothing would get done. I knew you were going to say that. I used to say that back in school, too. Really? Kaine smiled. I didn't realize I was so predictable. Predictable's good sometimes. It's not too dull. It's dull in a good way. I suppose I'll take that as a compliment. Haven't been sleeping. Oh, haven't you been sleeping though? You look like you're about to pass out. I've been trying and not succeeding. Noah shook his head. Ah! It's hard to sleep lately. I mean, it's been hard for a while. But you already know that. Lately, however, whenever I try to sleep, I keep dreaming instead. Dreaming, huh? Kaine's brow furrows. The full meaning of these words, cryptic, though they might have sounded, were not lost on him. When you say that, you're not talking about normal dreaming, are you? I don't know how other people dream, but probably not. It shouldn't be too much of a surprise. Nothing I do has been normal lately. I see, so you're still getting involved in all that. Kate? Oh, it's over. Just end the video. I'm like waiting for a good place to stop. But I keep messing up all the words. I just can't help it. I'm just a girl. I'm just a little guy. What do you want from me? Kaine inhaled. His fingers looked... No, actually, you know what? End the video. It's over. Whatever. Dude, whatever. Okay, let me lock in. He hooked his fingers together, which were resting on his lap. Then his voice dropped to a whisper. Does that mean you've seen more things? Just like we saw with Mr. Floyd? Yeah. Noah. Kaine's voice took on a chastising tone, a tone which, once again, reminded Noah of a mother. Not his own mother, but how he thought one should be. I thought I told you to keep away from those dreams. That place, I don't know very much about it, but it didn't feel safe. What if you got trapped there? What if you were hurt? I doubt any dream could hurt me much more than reality, but it might surprise you. I don't actually have a death wish. I didn't want to go back to those dreams. I didn't have a choice. I haven't twisted my arm, so to speak. Ivan? Kaine's... I'm just gonna dance, whatever. Kaine pulled a face, which only seemed out of place with his pristine white shirt and smooth, well-brushed hair. Why is that weirdo hanging around you so much? He's like a bad smell. I mean, yeah, he is weird, but I don't think even he would agree with that. Disagree? Is probably what it said. And you've been spending more time with him of your own free will? I have. Though it wasn't necessarily by choice. Well, then that doesn't make it free will, my guy. So he's been essentially stalking you. I don't know if stalking is exactly right. He's certainly been breaking and entering in my apartment a lot. Ugh. Kaine's disgruntled expression deepened. I knew there was something fishy about him the moment I saw him. He looks like trouble. And it sounds like he's been causing you trouble, too. I feel like he causes everybody trouble. I don't think I'm special in that regard. You need to take this as a more serious issue than you are. He doesn't really care about anything or anyone. He and I are similar. I don't know. Don't ruin everything that I build. Noah, when I get you. Noah, when I get you. You're not like that, Noah. You care about plenty of things. Like? Noah simply nodded. He hasn't gotten you involved in anything shady, has he? He's made me an accomplice in a heist, I suppose. What? I mean, he stole an apple. I did pay for it, though. Noah frowned. But he really did dine and dash the other day. I got caught up in that, but shit. Kaine exhaled. What a jerk. He seems to pride himself on that fact. Why did you go out to eat with him in the first place? Ivan, he, doesn't really ask. I needed information, and he promised it if we got food. Then the jerk pulled me into a dream and didn't answer a single thing. He pulled you into a dream? To avoid paying his bill, yeah. Like, a little dramatic in my opinion. No kidding. Kaine exhaled slowly through his nostrils. His expression was harried. His lips pinched together, and as though in an attempt to avoid saying something aggressively un-Kaine-like. Noah observed his friend mutely, intrigued by the emotions that had gripped him. It wasn't like Kaine to lose his temper. It was more Noah's forte. He must have really disliked Ivan. So this dream you pulled you into. Kaine eventually spoke once he had calmed down to a sufficient degree. Was it anything like the dream we saw earlier with Mr. Floyd? Well, there wasn't a dungeon this time, but other than that it was similar. And, did you find out whose dream it was? Asher's. This time Kaine's eyebrows shot up to his forehead, until they were practically swallowed by his hairline. Your brothers? I suppose Asher isn't all that common of a name. Yes, my brother. Noah picked idly at the loose thread emerging from the cuff of his jacket. His gaze vague, almost sightless. Did you talk to him? Noah nodded. Wouldn't that be the first time you talked to him in, what, months? Years? Something like that. Well, then sounds like you had a pretty fun family reunion. I was beside myself with glee. Kaine smiled at a deadpan remark, though his smile did not endure. There was not much else to smile about, really, when it came to Noah's fraught relationship with his older brother. And how was Asher? About the same as always. So he was his usual unpleasant self. He didn't seem very pleased to see me, and the feeling was mutual. Sorry, Kaine snorted. There was more. I guess there's another guy who hasn't changed. Help. It's nice to know that he's just as much of an ass as he was in his dreams as he is in real life. I wouldn't have expected anything less. He's always had it out for me. That's what I thought, at least, but... Noah frowned, and then he told Kaine everything he had seen in Ash's dream the previous day. He told him about the gates and the people that waited by him, the teacher, the landlord, and Reuben. Asher seemed kind of surprised to see me there. It was almost like, I don't know, like he knew something was up, I suppose. You mean he was aware he was asleep? Not exactly. I don't think he was completely lucid. I mean, he was asleep, but some of the things he said to me, I don't know. It seemed like he was pretty alarmed when I told him I knew he'd failed his classes and that he hadn't been paying his rent. It definitely flustered him. Maybe that's why he opened up to me. I'm not exactly sure, but he was a lot more earnest than he usually is. He wasn't just putting me down like he usually does. Instead, it was like we were able to have a real conversation. I see. That's a good thing, I guess, but no matter how realistic it might have felt, it was a dream. Well, I know that. I said as much already. I'm not about to get dreams and reality mixed up, even if the borders between them have began to get rather hazy. I'm not delusional, it's just... Dreams are built by people who've dreamt them, and that was Asher's dream, so it should stand to reason that Asher and his dreams would be close to the real thing. I mean, it's not like he started preaching about world peace. He was still a smug jerk. He was just slightly less smug and bastard-like than usual. I'm almost sorry I missed it. It sounds like something I'd like to see. It wasn't all that exciting. It was kind of sad, mostly. Yeah? Yeah. If that dream had any bearing on reality, I don't think Asher's been doing too well. Huh. Well, Kaine scoffed. Serves him right. You don't feel sorry for him, do you, Noah? Not particularly. I am curious, though. I mean... Noah readjusted himself on the bench. Pensively, he looked over at the park and furrowed his brow. He texted me earlier. No kidding. Yeah. Noah nodded, his expression grim as he pressed his lips together. He asked if we could talk, which was unusual, coming from him. We haven't spoken in ages. I mean, hell. He didn't even call me when our parents died. For him to contact me like this, out of the blue, right after that dream, I think it has to be related. Do you think he remembered it then? I'm not sure. I couldn't say, really, but there was a person in Ash's dream who seemed to know all about this dream stuff. She said that she was doing research on the subject at the university, the same university that Ash is attending, actually. Apparently she and Asher used to date. least for a little while. Maybe Asher knows something about the dreams too, if he'd been hanging out with people like that. It isn't impossible. Huh, well, I'll be. I didn't think this was the sort of topic that would be studied at universities. It sounds a bit too fake, I guess. I was surprised too. I doubt it went over well with her professors. You're telling me. I think I understand what's going on though, more or less. Do you now? That's funny. I'm the one who's caught dead center in all this madness, and I have no idea. All this time I've been groping around in the dark. If I had been pulled into Mr. Floyd's dream myself, I'd worry all that isolation had gotten to your head. But I'd be tempted to haul you back to the hospital right about now. But with all that stuff we saw before, I can't do anything but believe it. Well, I'm glad you aren't doubting my sanity. I have doubted it in the past. He's nothing if not honest. But I trust you, Noah. I really do. Still, Kaine offered Noah a crooked smile. The dream stuff, I can wrap my head around, but all this stuff with Asher? It's over! That really is unreal. I was surprised when he texted me too. It didn't seem very like him. No kidding. I don't think I'd want to give him the time of day if I were in your position. But this isn't about me. What about you? Do you want to see him? I'm not sure. Noah frowned, his interwoven fingers resting on his thighs. I've been thinking about it, turning over relationships in my head. I know we never got along. He was always insufferable to me, but that's something of an understatement. But he sounded sincere enough in that dream. I don't know if he remembers everything that happened, but it might be a good basis for a talk. I think it's been long overdue. Well, yeah, you're overdue for a good few years, I reckon. If he didn't care to talk to you earlier, I'm not sure why he'd want to now. I can't imagine Asher of all people getting a change of heart. Me neither. But I couldn't imagine my perfect older brother failing classes or forgetting to pay rent either. True, there is that. So, did you reply to him? Not yet. I wanted to think over my options. I'm leaning towards yes, though. There was a lot I wanted to say to him, and who knows? He might know something about all this, or maybe he knows somebody who does. Daisy sounds like she knew her stuff. Kaine frowned. I see where you're coming from, but I wouldn't put too much faith in Asher. He'll only end up disappointing you. Please, Noah sighed. You don't need to tell me that. I'm well aware of that this is probably going to go badly. Well, as long as you're aware. I'd hate for you to put too much stock in this dream, only for him to act like his usual unpleasant self when you see him again. It's best not to get your hopes up when he's involved. I know. I'm the one who had to grow up with him. You told me enough of his antics over the years. That was only the tip of the iceberg. Did he do anything worse than tossing your stuff into the river? He did all sorts of things. Grand gestures like that weren't too common, but he's always treated me like I was worse than trash. I guess he wasn't wrong about that, at least. You were plenty, Noah. It's not easy living with someone who's determined to whittle down your self-esteem. I had to deal with the three of them. And you still want to see him despite all of that? I feel like I have to. I've been letting things slide for too long, and maybe I should stop running from the past. Isn't that what you wanted? I've only ever wanted you to be happy, Noah. And I don't think you've been running from your past. I think you've been dwelling in it. I don't see how seeing Asher now, after all this time, would help. Then you think it's a bad idea? If you were asking my opinion, I'd say it's a bad idea. But your life is your own, and I can't make that decision for you. Kaine relented after a pause. You have to live it as you see fit. I can't tell you what to do, and I wouldn't want to either. Interesting. You don't need my approval to make your own decisions. Of course not. I'm an adult. Get him! Though sometimes I wonder whether you realize it. Well, you act like a child, so don't play. Yeah, of course you are. Kaine exhaled, and though he didn't say much, Noah had to wonder if there was an unspoken, you don't always act like... Yeah, that's what I said. Get got, nerd. I know how things are between you and Asher, though. Some of those things he said to you. Hell, some of the things he did to you. Kaine frowned. I wouldn't wish that upon my worst enemy, let alone my own brother. How he could treat you like that is a mystery. I don't think it's that mysterious, really. Oh? Noah shook his head. The answer is simple. He's a jerk, just like you said. Always has been. Riley, Kaine smiled. On that point, at least we're in agreement. I thought you'd be all for it. It'll get me out of the house, at least. Yes, and back to your old place. And I doubt there are many good memories there. Noah didn't fail to note the way that Kaine said his brother's name, as though he were speaking of a particularly nasty infestation of cockroaches. There was something reassuring about it. Asher had always been their parents' golden child. It was nice to know that Kaine, at least, could see past all of that. Will you really be okay back there alone? I won't know unless I try, I guess. Let me come with you. If nothing else, I have a car, and we can make the whole trip a lot more bearable for you. Huh? Noah had not expected this suggestion, sat in shock. You really should have expected it, because that's exactly the kind of person Kaine is. Predictable, my guy. Are you being serious? Why wouldn't I be serious? This is a serious situation, and I don't think Asher would actually hurt you, but I feel like having someone by your side will make it easier for you. Having me around might compel him to act like a semi-decent human being for a change, too. He's always cared about appearances, didn't he? It seems unlikely he'll try anything too unpleasant if there's a witness around. That's fair. I'd like to think I can keep him in check. The thoughts are appreciated, but what about your job? I thought you had a lot of responsibilities. Is that really something you can hand-wave so you can come with me to the middle of nowhere? It'll be fine. Kaine replied with a literal wave of his hand and a brush, as if to brush aside Noah's earlier inquiry. This probably won't come as a surprise, but I'm a model employee in each and every regard. I've never been late once. I do a lot of overtime, and I've not even taken a single sick day all year. You really are a perfect person. It's enough to make me wonder why you still bother spending time with me at all. I don't know about perfect, but I try my best. Kaine replied with a wry smile, running one hand as he did through his hair. I do have quite a lot of goodwill banked up as a result, and a lot of paid leave I can take. I don't think my boss would mind if I put in a request for a holiday. Taking a week off should be fine. That's still a week you could be in the office. A week I'd rather spend with you, especially if we're going to be back in our hometown. I haven't been there in ages. It might be nice to go back, see the sights, catch up with some people. You make it sound like a fun vacation. People are dying, Kaine. I know that. I'm just trying to see the positive side to all this. If you can see the positive of this, you're more optimistic than I am. Well, I already knew that. No kidding. You're like the captain of the depressing brigade, my guy. Kaine grinned while Noah frowned. All of a sudden, he felt rather exhausted. He hadn't planned to take Kaine with him on his trip, but he no longer had the energy to try to fight with him. What was the point? Kaine might have been a model employee, but as far as a friend went, he was incredibly stubborn. Kaine's stubborn streak had often annoyed Noah in the past. Womp womp, deal with it. But it's probably a good thing he's like this. If he wasn't, he never would have put up with me for so long. Alright, you can come with me, I guess. I don't think Asher will be pleased, but he's never pleased about anything. Why are you doing all this for me, though? Isn't it a pain? Noah, please. Spending time with you is never a pain. Noah didn't reply to the blatant lie. It's not a lie for him, because he is obsessed with you. Instead, he raised an eyebrow which made Kaine chuckle. Alright. Spending time with you isn't always the easiest thing in the world, but the most fulfilling things in life aren't. Besides, we're friends. We're in this together. And crazy as all this is, if you find yourself in over your head and you need someone to haul you back, I'm sure you'd do the same for me. I think you're putting a little bit too much faith in me. Noah pressed his lips into a line and shook his head. I can tell that you won't back down on this. Whoops. Good. I'm glad my persistence has finally paid off. But you ought to be careful. Of Asher, you mean? Him too, but there's something strange about all this dream stuff. Beyond the obvious, I mean. Such as, I realized it earlier today when I was looking through that yearbook you got for me. All the people who've been dying, they're all related to me in some way or another. I thought it could have been a coincidence at first with my parents and then Sebastian. It feels deliberate somehow. I didn't notice that. You're really smart sometimes, aren't you? Not rarely. Very rarely. Hey, I remember you got a 98 back in high school. How can you remember something like that? I guess it's not only my looks that are fantastic, but my memory too. But back to the whole dream thing. Kaine frowned. Do you think someone's targeting you? I don't really think I'm important enough for someone to bother, but it's possible. I don't know who's been behind this or what their goal is, but if they are targeting people I know, you could be next. There aren't many people out there that know me better than you do. Kaine grinned. You mean to say you're worried about me? Should I not be? No. I'm just saying I'm flattered, actually, that you care that much. It feels like but it feels like a bit of a role reversal. Usually I'm the one who worries about you. You know, you don't have to treat me like a charity case. I can take care of myself. No, you cannot. And yet, despite your claims, you've done a shockingly poor job at it. Got him. Get ruined. Just because I can take care of myself doesn't mean I want to. Which means somebody else has to step in. Aren't you fortunate that you have a considerate best friend? Kaine nudged Noah's shoulder, albeit gently. He didn't use as much pressure as he would have in the past, when they were in high school. Too much time had passed since then, and the ease of physicality in their past friendship had dwindled. Though Kaine still smiled around Noah, and even his smile seemed somewhat guarded. I mean, yeah, because, he has to step on eggshells around you because you're too busy yelling and exploding at people. The distance between them might have been shrinking, but their relationship was still strained. Was it possible for things to return to the way they were? I'd be lying if I said I didn't have some concerns about this, but that's all the more reason to be sticking with you. Though it does occur to me that, of all the people who've been caught up in the dreams, they weren't the nicest to you. That's an understatement. What? I think I read that wrong. Whatever. I'm confident that I've only ever been a good friend to you, though. Maybe that counts for something? Noah fell silent, his expression pensive. He still had no idea who was behind the events of last week, but Kaine did raise a good point. Noah had been on poor terms with his parents, and Sebastian had bullied him in school, and then there was Mr. Floyd who had betrayed Noah's trust, and Asher who had always been a jerk. These people who were all related to Noah, but they had nothing but caused him pain, both in the past and in the present. Was that another point of connection between them? Could some meaning be gleaned from it? Noah was unsure. He didn't have enough information. With some luck, however, it would be rectified after returning to his hometown, with Kaine in tow. You know, I just thought of something. What? If there's one person I wouldn't mind getting caught up in all this with, it's Luca. Wouldn't mind? Oh, yeah. Luca? Now, this name I haven't heard in a long time. It was a name Noah tried not to think about, too. Nothing had ever come from associating with Luca Bellworth. Yeah, that guy was kind of an ass. If anyone deserves to get shut away in a cell, it's that guy. I doubt he'd dream about being in a cell. He's never struck me as the penchant sort. Knowing him, not that I did want to know him much, but he'd be some sort of lord oppressing the peasantry. He always used to act like that. Like the world owed him a living. And that was back in school. It's so long ago now. I'm not used to thinking about it so much. Sorry, all this talk about going back home must have got me thinking. It's fine, I've been doing a lot of thinking too. Though not about Luca. The less I have to think about him, the better. Seriously. There had been little point to dwelling on, however, on Luca. It had been years since Noah had last seen him. Years, too, since he had last thought of him. It was strange that Kaine could still recall him when he had been a more persistent thorn in Noah's side, and Noah wasn't aware the two had any kinds of relationship. Anyway, you're set on coming with me? Dead set. I've already made up my mind. Hell, I'd even offer to drive you back now if I didn't have some work that needs wrapping up back in the office. Will it take a while? Not too long. I should be done in a couple of days. Then there shouldn't be anything stopping me from taking a bit of much-deserved leave. But until then, Kaine frowned. He seemed to be grappling with a decision for a few moments. Noah could practically hear the gears in his mind ticking before he spoke. Do you want to stay at my place for a bit? Yeah, we're gonna do that. You better not say no. Your place? Kaine nodded. We've already established people being targeted in their dreams are related to you. It could be a coincidence, even as you said. Unlikely, but I don't want to take any chances. I believe it's safety in numbers, and I think you'll be better off with me. I'd rather not leave you on your own. Noah fell silent. It was a sweet sentiment, he supposed, but these attacks aren't happening in the real world, though. If I get dragged into more dreams, it doesn't matter where my physical body is. You still won't be able to protect me. I know the killer, whoever they are, has to have a physical form, and there's no reason why they couldn't hunt you down. If that did happen, I'd rather be around. It would be good for my own peace of mind, if nothing else. And I don't trust that Ivan. Yeah, me neither. He's stinky. He's stinky. I don't like him. You said he's been hanging around you lately? More or less moved into my place. He's being persistent. So a complete stranger stacks up with you and refuses to leave around about the same time these people start dying? Great, that's not suspicious at all. Do you suspect Ivan? I don't think it's Ivan. I think it would be foolish not to, the circumstantial evidence being what it is. I mean, but that's all it is circumstantial. Like, that doesn't necessarily mean anything, because also Crow showed up at the same time too, and it could be him as well, for the same reasoning. Once more, Noah fell silent. He supposed Kaine did have a point. He had thought Ivan's sudden appearance had been suspicious, especially given the timing of it. Ow. His involvement with the current going-ons was indisputable. Just how involved was he? Was more of a mystery. Okay. We're gonna save it. Yes, I want to come with you. Yeah! Yeah! Okay. Because this has already been going on for forever and ever, I'm gonna stop it here. Oh. I'm gonna stop it here, because also my throat is widowy dying. I'm widowy dying. Oh, actually, yeah, let me go back one. Yeah, let's save it here. Okay. Perfect. Yeah, we're stopping here, because I was wanting to like, stop it where it would change from one scene to another, which should have been the park, but I was like, we haven't been doing it that long. And now my throat's like, die! So, I'm gonna stop it here, because I sound nasty, so. I hope you're having as much fun as I am, and I will see you all next time. Bye!